Hey, everybody. Hi there. So you all know me, right?
Yeah.
Yes. I want to welcome you to this discussion with Bill Brennan. Bill is not your typical political candidate. He's a retired firefighter, activist, and a nominee for the Democratic candidate for a New Jersey gubernatorial election this year. And don't forget, you got to vote November 7th of this year. Okay? Write it down.
You gotta vote June 6th.
It's June 6th.
The primary is June 6th.
Primary is June 6th. Primary is June 6th. We'll remind them because they're all registered voters. So, yeah. Okay. So I thought we would start with Bill telling you how he got into public service, why he's passionate about it. Okay, Bill, thank you and welcome.
You know, I have to thank you because I feel very welcome here and I feel appreciated for coming here, and I relish the opportunity to talk to kind people who believe in good, sound public policy, and I feel that in this room. So God bless all of you for being here to hear what I have to say. I appreciate it. And the question was how I got started in public service, and I guess I've never really thought about it because I don't know when it happened. I've been in public service my whole life. My first job ever, I was a lifeguard. And I really liked the idea of looking out for people and protecting people. And then I went into the fire department. And to me, that was a dream come true. Because I got to go to work and get paid to go around helping people. And you know, when they say, if you're gonna get a job, do something you love and you'll never work a day in your life, well, that's true. If you like helping people and you get a job in the fire department, you're in heaven. And you know, you'll never be unhappy with your job. How you doing? So, you know, somewhere along the line, I noticed in government that decisions were being made that were not in anyone's best interest, and the decisions that were being made were hurting people. And I was 19 years old. Some corruption scandal in Queens, New York erupted, and they were looking for people to take the place of the Queensborough president. So I said, well, why not? I'll go down there. And I didn't think they would accuse me, so I went down there and I ranted at them for doing things like filling the pool with water for a month and not hiring lifeguards. And I forgot about it. Well, the next day, it was all over the newspaper. And people were calling me and saying, I didn't know you were doing that. But, you know, over the years, I got involved in my union, and I got involved in not just protecting the citizens that I was serving in the fire department, but my coworkers who were being placed in dangerous conditions by people in government that, for a few pennies, were willing to jeopardize the health, safety, and welfare of 100 firefighters. They wouldn't buy us the protective bunker pants that you see firefighters wearing. In 1995, in Teaneck, New Jersey, I was president of a union, and my members and I were wearing rubber boots that came up to here and left our crotches exposed in violation of state law. So I went to the town manager and the fire chief, and they said, well, we don't want to pay for it. I said, but that's against the law. And they said, too bad. So I filed a complaint. The Public Employment, Occupational Safety and Health Administration came in. And wouldn't you know, they issued a complaint for every one of the firefighters. They issued a charge for not having the bunker pants, but they inspected all of our equipment. And it come to find out that over 250 of the pieces of equipment were insufficient, and they had to buy us all new jackets and new helmets and new gloves because we all had rips. And had they just bought what they needed, they probably could have got away with having us wear our jackets with holes in them. And then they came after me because you can't have somebody sticking up for the members and embarrassing the public officials and costing them money. And they started harassing me. And that went on for a very long time. And it's not in my nature to give up. I outlasted them. It went over a decade. We ended up in court and I won. But so I started paying attention to what was going on in my hometown. And I noticed that all of the elected officials were real estate brokers, except one of them was an insurance broker. And they were appointing the planning board, the board of adjustment, the building inspector, and they were paving over every inch of Little Falls, New Jersey. And they wanted to allow a developer to put 25 homes on property that was supposed to be a park. So I didn't think that that was an appropriate use of public resources, and I started putting signs up around town and collecting signatures, and we were able to get Congressman Bill Pascarella to help us out, and we were able to beat that back. And it felt good to, just stick my neck out, not get it chopped off for a change, and do something. And then over the years, you run into one scenario or another where people in government aren't doing their job, whether you're a judge who's breaking the law. So what did I do? I filed a complaint with the Advisory Committee on Judicial Conduct, and the Supreme Court removed it from office. I didn't make very many friends when I did that, but it happened. So along those lines, I've done it for a very long time. And I come to find that there's no greater joy that you can have is if you find somebody who's hurting or in need or scared, and you can come to that person, and you can, even if you can't solve the problem, if you can be there to support them, to see the look of relief, to see the just gratitude that somebody hears their voice and is on their side, it does more for me as a person to help somebody in need than I'm doing for the person there. I get more out of it. There are people on this planet who they get gratitude or satisfaction out of getting more money. They have billions of dollars and they spend every waking moment trying to get more money. And I don't think they know what happiness is. And I think that they think if they keep throwing money down this hole in their heart, then someday they'll be happy. But that's not what brings people happiness. What brings people happiness is making a connection with somebody, is reaching out and helping somebody up, is being able to take a situation and make it better. And sometimes it costs a little and sometimes it costs nothing, but every time you do it, you become a happier, more complete person. And you make another connection because, over the years, I've had occasion to help hundreds of people. I am so blessed with the friends I have. And if anything in my world goes wrong, I know that I have people who will come running to me and help me. And I didn't do it for that reason, but I am blessed because of this. And I am not going to stop doing that. So as far as government is concerned, we have lost our way. We have gotten involved in a process where everybody is packaged and polished, and they have polls, and they have numbers, and they have data, and they're in it because they want to run this machine. And they think that when they get control of the machine, they'll be happy. And they're not doing the things that they're supposed to be doing. They're doing the things that the experts tell them they must do in order to get elected. And that's not coming from their heart. That's not coming from a place of service to the community. That is a cynical and sophisticated manipulation of the public. And the results of that are you get decisions like, let's go to a fee-for-service plan and risk the health, safety, and happiness and home of hundreds of people who are thriving in a community. That's the decision and mindset of somebody who has no business in public service. Even if they were concerned about money and they thought they had a budgetary constraint, they're not looking past next week. They're not looking past the short-term savings. Because remember, we're all in this together. We're all in this together. And if just 10% of us slip through the cracks and need advanced care, if you have to start treating people who are happy and thriving for depression because they're separated from their friends and their family and they're lonely. You have costs that are incalculable. You have damage that can't be repaired. And you have people in government who are not doing the people's work. They are not, nobody wants what's happening here to happen. I have not heard anybody say this is a good thing. But what they've done is they found a way to get other people in the community, in the community of the disabled, to say we can get a little bigger piece of the pie if they take a little piece of the pie from somebody else. And they pitted you against other groups so that you don't speak with one voice. And that's cynical and short-sighted of the elected officials. So I am not going to be governor until January. And this is happening on July 1st. And I don't have $1 million. And if $1 million would keep you guys going until January, I would write the check. But I know somebody with $1 million. And his name is Phil Murphy. And I'm calling Phil now. Phil, this is the right thing to do. If you have $17 million to spend on getting yourself elected, I'm calling you out. I'm calling you out right now. Get out your checkbook and protect this community for another 6 months. And you know something? He's not a bad guy. He just might do it. He just might write that check. Because I met the guy, I met his kids, I wanted to hate him, I wanted to call him out on all these things. I really did. But he's not a bad guy. And he's just using the system that exists. And I'll be honest with you, if I had his money and I wanted to be governor, and it was for sale, I would buy it. And he bought it, I would buy it. I would buy it, and then I would make sure that nobody could do it again. But let's not be hypocrites. I mean, if you've got $100 million to spend, and the governorship is only going to cost you 20, and that's what you want to do with your time, you'll do it. My only problem is he's not saying, after me, I'm going to change the system. But I do know one thing. He raised his kids right. He's got a nice family. If he get to meet you, if he saw what was going on, if he saw what a vibrant part of this community you guys are, if he saw how you are supporting every local business that you can walk to here, whether it's the Carvel across the street or the nail salon down the block, or any one of the businesses, the tobacco store or the candy store or any of the restaurants, you guys are propping up South Orange because you are a vibrant part of the community, and that's an incalculable cost that's going to be lost. If Jespy House is lost, we're going to have to do something to revitalize this neighborhood. And it's a cascading spiral to the bottom that has no need to take place. For a couple $1 million in a state with a $35 billion budget, the current governor has decided to renovate the State House at a cost of $500 million. $500 million he's going to spend on a building in Trenton, while you are worried that you're going to lose your home, that you're going to lose your family, that you're going to lose your mobility with the stores that you can walk to, you're going to lose your connection to the people and the people in the community that know and love you. I just met a man around the corner who serves you in his shop. Why should he lose you over a small-minded policy? And I can tell you now, as governor, I am going to raise taxes to cover this group. I'm going to do that. I'm told that I have to save time for the questions and answers, but I want to be very specific about the taxes that I'm going to raise to cover you. If you make more than $750,000 every year in salary or bonuses, 2 cents of every dollar you make over $750,000 is going to be added tax so that I can protect you. If you're one of the 23 people in the state of New Jersey who just had their $10 billion inheritance tax cut, I'm going to reinstate it. And when you inherit more than $10 million, you're going to pay tax on it so that people like you aren't left on their own. If you are a corporation and you want a tax credit as a condition of staying in New Jersey, I am going to tell you, leave. We will bring a corporation here that wants to contribute to this state because we have a great location. We have a great educated workforce. We are between New York City and Philadelphia. We are between Boston and Washington, D.C. We have one of the best education systems in the country. If you want to take your pharmaceutical company or high-tech company to one of the states where people can't read, try it. Do it. You're going to fail. But here in New Jersey, we have an educated workforce. We have a great location. And you can afford to stay here or you can leave. But you're not going to threaten me with I'll leave if you don't give me what I want. Because somebody will take your place. Location, location, location. I see Tara's ready to take some questions. So
We're going to ask everybody to line up in the center aisle that has a question for Bill. Clients and members of the community as well, any parents or families, please feel free. Give each other lots of space. All your questions will be answered.
Hi, my name is Michael Jazzo. I've been a client here at Jespy for the past 10 years. I came in 07.
I'm sorry, can I just interrupt for a minute?
Sure.
Since I have the pleasure of meeting you behind the scenes, I just want to let you know these guys are hysterical, and I want to let you guys know, be comfortable and let him have it.
All right, this is a question for you. 53% of Democratic voters, they're leaning voters, say they don't know who they will vote for. Why should they vote for you?
Well, that's a great question. And I think it comes down to if they've had the opportunity to see all the other candidates. They've been bombarded with ads and they know what their choices are, and they don't like what's being offered to them. But when they look to me, they don't just see somebody who came with polish and package. They see somebody who speaks from the heart. They see somebody who cares and tries to lift up everyone around him and isn't looking for anything in return. And they see somebody who's been fighting the good fight for 30 years. I've been fighting for people like you and other people that are not well represented by government my entire adult life, and I've been successful at it. So they should vote for me if they're undecided, because they need to get to know me. And when you get to know me, you know that I'm coming from my heart, and we need more people that come from their heart.
And the problem is that no one really gets to know you because the Democratic Party won't let you participate in any of the debates or anything like that, or because you just they all it is money nowadays.
Well, the great equalizer is the internet, and those of you who have social media on should get in touch with the campaign. If I have convinced you that I am your choice, then you have the ability to get at least 10 people on board with what we're doing. And I think you're going to see a big change in those poll numbers in the next 3 weeks. If any poll was taken after the 1st of May, you're going to see that 50% number coming down and my numbers coming up, just by virtue of the fact people are getting to know me. Michael, I know you now. Thank you for the question.
So you guys got that? Like, if you spread the word, if you're interested, now that we're encouraging you, whatever you decide, you guys have the choice through viral to spread the word on whatever candidate, whether it be Republican or Democrat, that you choose.
I've been in Jespy for a long time, and this program has helped me to blossom and become very independent and live mostly on my own And, you know, I've done very well, and if Jespy A were to close because of lack of funding, or if I were to lose personal funding, it would be such a nightmare. It would be like really terrible. I don't know where I would go. I don't know where I would, you know what I mean? It would just be horrible. Could you ensure, if I voted for you, could you like ensure like funding for like rent assistance for Jespy?
I can tell you this. January 1st, as governor, I will direct the heads of every administrative agency to use the discretion that they have to allocate from within their budgets anything that is needed to keep this successful program up and running. One of the problems I have with what's going on is, in government, there are over 1 million problems that need government attention and need to be solved. This is not a problem. So before they come here and try and fix something that isn't broken, they should go and deal with New Jersey Transit, they should go and deal with the pension system, they should go and deal with the broken road, and they should leave you alone, because you are not a problem. And they're running from their problem, and they want to balance the budget on the backs of developmentally disabled people and the poorest among us, the most needy among us, then they need to leave government. That's not what we're all about in the United States of America. And we need to get back to who we are. And that's one country for all of us, not one piece of the country for a few of us. Thank you.
Thank you, Dan.
Hi, my name is Ty Goucher. My question is, if you were elected, how will you support the disabled population to remain in the community?
Well, I hope that you can get a sense from me that I believe in you, and I believe in your group, and I believe in this this should be held up as an example of how to reach out and help people, and how to give people the dignity and respect and care and support that they need to become more independent. And I'm fearful that what they're doing is looking at dollars and cents, and they're going to make people go backwards. And I won't have that in my administration. I will fund this program. Thank you.
Go ahead, Ari.
He's a little
You got it.
shy.
You got this, Ari.
Hey guys, how cool is it that he's running for governor and he's this down to earth?
Okay, well, my name is Oliver Grossman, I've been here since 2007, but I want to make a comment, okay? So all these years that we had Governor Christie, you know, all the time when Christie not doing anything about the whole entire world as a governor, right? And what I'm hearing from you, I like the comments that what you've been saying. And it's amazing. Like, it's amazing that in our lives, right, in Jespy, like, you know, you wanted to help us. You know, and that's really good.
I got you back. I got you back. You just made my day. I can tell you that right now. You
They
made
make
me
our day every day.
So, we've talked before, my name is Brian Grants, and I am one of the co-chairs of the advocacy committee here at Jespy. I just want to tell you that I do appreciate the fact that you are taking a stand, because I've been dealing with this thing for 20 years, and no politician has ever come to their aid in terms of funding, in terms of.
Well, I'm going to shame them.
Yeah.
I'm going to shame them all because. Hold on a second. Just give me a minute.
Hold on, we need to, sorry.
Is somebody hurt out there?
No, the bus, we need to figure this out. Sorry, guys.
Nobody's hurt. That's okay. As long as nobody's hurt, we can keep going. Brian, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt.
That's a true governor. He's like, hold on, let me see what's going on. He's like, hold on, guys, I wanna make sure.
So, my question to you, as,
Guys,
Brian's question for me is,
as governor, would you create a bipartisan commission on special needs, and, just to help, help fund these programs, help, fund, do rent assistance, just so that they can't take that funding away, because these communities were family.
well, when you say, the question was, would I create a bipartisan commission to fund these programs? And unfortunately, and I don't want to insult anybody who's a Republican, but unfortunately, the Republican Party has been taken over by sociopaths. And I would not involve them in anything that requires compassion or aid to the needy or anything like that. I would specifically shut them down and shut them out unless they came to me and said, we've realized the error of our ways and we want to help. Because we don't need it. We have a Democratic Senate, we have a Democratic House, Democratic Assembly, and I will be a Democratic governor. So until the Republican House Republicans get their house in order, no, they have no seat at my table until they get their house in order. Until they stop worshiping the almighty dollar, because they have a problem.
I am Michael Stone.
hello.
Hello to you. I'm a little worried at this point, where we are going to, lose Jespy. I hope we don't, I know you are coming on board, and I hope,
We hope.
I hope we have a good, I hope Jespy doesn't close down. I've been here around, 26 years. I got my own place, I don't wanna lose it. But what else could we do, besides that?
Well, the sad truth is, with Chris Christie occupying the State House, and with Donald Trump occupying the White House, and Republicans in Congress running the table and looking to take away from people like us to give to wealthy people.
Yeah, but we don't wanna lose it,
We
don't wanna
need,
lose everybody.
we need to get through the 6-month window. I can tell you now, look, I don't see any Democratic governor letting this program go. Look, I shouldn't say that because I want you to vote for me, but I don't think any one of the other 5 candidates is going to let us out. And you know what, if they try, they're going to have to look at me each and every day they walk out of their office. And nobody wants to be on their back, I'm telling you right now. And I will hound and harass them. My problem is, I don't know what to do about July 1st to December 31st. I don't have the check.
Thanks, Mike.
Phil, we need $1 million for 6 months. And then whoever's governor can take care of these folks. Phil, don't forget, I'm giving you a shout out here, Phil. Name recognition for you. I know you can't buy it sometimes, but you can definitely do the right thing and help these people out from July 1st till December 31st until one of us is governor and we can undo the terrible tragedy that they're trying to perpetrate on us.
Hi, my name is Deborah Davidson. I've been in Jespy since 1988. Jespy is my family, and I want to know, how are you going to make transportation better for us to get to and from work, so we're not taking a tour of New Jersey just to get home? If we get up at 6:30 in the morning and we finish work at 3:30, we shouldn't have to sit for like an hour and a half, and then ride around for another 2 hours.
You talk about access link?
Access stinks.
Access stinks, okay. Yeah, it's the same problem that my mom had in New York City with excessive ag. They're not well operated, they waste your time, and you get hit or miss with the quality of the drive and the care you get.
Why can't they get the same system Lyft and Uber uses?
Well, that was gonna be my suggestion. that it would be cheaper to dismantle the whole program and just use taxis than it would to do what they're doing, because they leave these buses sitting there idling for 4 or 5 hours a day, and they show up at canceled calls because they want you to do it a day in advance, and then your plans change. So now you're wasted the drive. We're paying that access stinks. To drive to a location where you're not there, and if you could just call up a half an hour in advance and say, I'm ready to go home, or if you had a standing appointment with a particular Uber or Lyft or the cab company or some other program, it would be more efficient. And I think, unfortunately, there's a lot of public contracting money involved in this. They get a contract, and what happens is they give donations to various assemblymen and senators, and they keep donating the money. And so instead of improving their service, they improve their contact with elected officials.
So what they're doing is they're trying to buy off people?
I'm only talking from my own cynical view. I have not looked at the ELEC reports, but you can go on the Election Law Enforcement Commission website, find the name of the corporation that has the access stinks, and then you look and see who they donated to.
Thank you, Debbie.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Debbie.
Deb. Hello.
The funding for Jespy House, get taken away because my husband is on, some support. Because this has got medicated,
And I'm back to the same problem. I can't do anything until January. But if you can hang on until then, we're going to have a Democratic government, no matter who it is. And whoever that is going to have to, look, when I get involved, I don't let it go. And I can assure you this, even if I don't win the election, which I probably will win the election the way things are, but if I don't, I am not going away. I am going to be, I'm going to just be one. I'm going to be on their ass about this until they pay what they need to pay. And nobody wants to do it. I'm on your side.
Hi, I'm Christoph. I've been living here at Jespy in South London for about 9 years, and I've been working my job about 11 years. I've been taking assessment 2 days a week, and I hope I don't lose my job for good. I've been doing a good job at Stop and Shop, doing it, helping the customer to the car, to the groceries, and then help them load the car. I hope I get paid. I do have direct deposits in my account, and I just mentioned about it. My parents is very happy and doing a good job, and I got a good report about my job, and I hope to do my best for it to do.
Thanks,
Well,
Chris.
Chris, you are an example of why this program works. You're able to work, you're able to earn a living, you're able to do something. This is exactly what we should be holding up as an example of what not to unfix.
Yes.
And you are a shining example, as are everybody here.
I try to be nice. I try to be all.
And
Thank you, Chris.
thank you, Chris. And I got your back. That's all I can tell you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Heather. I've been here since 1999. I've watched this program grow. I've watched them at departments. It's been amazing. My concern is, if you were governor, what would you do about the Medicaid reimbursements and protection for clients with DBD? I've got a lot of my friends that are DBD, and honestly, it makes me scared. What could you do? I know you're not going to be in office if you were to win until January 1st, but what could you do to protect us in that window from July 1st to December?
I would love to have a solution for you from July to December. The only thing that I can think of is to ask my competitor one more time, hey Phil, if you're out there, it's about $1 million. you'll get a lot of good publicity. It's better than the Bergen record. It's actually something that's going to help the community. You'll get something done. Write a check. Do the right thing. If you don't, the Republicans will have your lunch between June 6th and November over it. So do what you got to do. But after January, I'm going to raise that millionaire's tax. I'm going to cut the corporate loopholes. I'm going to reinstate the inheritance tax. I'm going to put a surcharge on companies that pay their CEO more than 100 times more than the lowest paid employee. I am going to do everything in my power to make sure that the resources are there for all of us, not just for the top 1%.
So the Medicaid reimbursement.
We will augment that with state funds because the Medicaid reimbursement is coming from the federal government. And what's coming down the road, if we don't stop the insanity, which is, the whole mantra is let's give more money to rich people and let it trickle down. And they've been telling that lie for 30 years in a row. And they've been squeezing the poor, they've been squeezing working people. They stole all our pensions, they're taking all our benefits, they're pushing us further and further down. And we as a collective society have to stop allowing them to tell this lie. But the problem is we're in a post-fact world. We're in a world where the President of the United States is regularly and routinely lying through his teeth. And we need to mobilize, all of us. This is all of our fight. So there's the issue, truth. Nobody is demanding the truth anymore. We saw it happen with Chris Christie. He would tell one lie, he would tell another lie. Then he would lie about the two lies he lied about lying about. And it somehow was acceptable. We had Democrats. We're in Essex County. The county executive in this county endorsed Chris Christie. You guys have some power about that. He's got to go. He's got to go. He heard you.
Future Governor Brennan, my name is Steve Kaiser.
I know.
I didn't know you until I saw you invited here this evening. Why don't you take 2 minutes now, give us an infomercial about the other issues that you stand for, so that when we do go on to our Facebook and our other social media, we're able to tell people who don't have children who are affected with different types of disabilities, other things about you, so that we would then be able to say, hey, this guy is really good.
Yeah, that's
Thank you. I got 2 minutes. Great question. I should put that on All right. For those, I got caught up in the moment when I got here, and I really didn't tell you who I am. I'm a retired firefighter from TNET. I retired from the fire department. I went to law school in my mid-40s. I got first I had to get a bachelor's degree, then I got a law degree, and now I just do this because I can do anything I want with my pension and my retirement. And what I want to do is this: make things better. So one of the things that bothers me is injustice in the world, and Chris Christie is an example of that. He committed a crime with respect to the George Washington Bridge. In case you weren't aware of it, a citizen signed a complaint against him that resulted in a judge finding probable cause. I'm that citizen. And he tried to have that complaint dismissed, and the judge denied his request, so he appealed, and the judge denied that request, so they said do it over, and the judge found the case had merit again, and he went to 2 more judges. Then what happened was the attorney general and the prosecutor that worked for him refused to process the complaint. They just said, we're not going to do our job. Now that's a problem. That's dangerous, because what he did was he used the power of his office to try and force somebody to take a political action in supposedly a free country, and that's very dangerous. So as far as the things that I want to do, I am a huge environmental advocate. I believe that climate change is an existential threat to the human race. That if we don't do something about climate change, we're not going to have a planet to live on. There are going to be wars, not over oil, but over drinking water. There's going to be wars over food. There's going to be war over dry land to live on. And that's really something that is happening because of that greed that I talked about earlier. Because there are people on this planet making money on oil, and they will not let that go. They want to dominate the world with their money, and they are choking our planet. So I want to make New Jersey the first state in the United States of America to get all of its electricity from renewable energy. And I'm going to do that by resurrecting the Atlantic Wind Energy Project, which could bring in 25% of New Jersey's electricity from offshore wind. I'm going to refund the Clean Energy Program at the Board of Public Utilities so that those solar panels that started popping up before Christie took office will continue to pop up again. I will get us in the regional greenhouse gas initiative that Christie pulled us out of so that there'll be a carbon tax and that we can use those resources to fully fund solar. I am going to make jobs in this state because I don't make promises I can't keep, but some of the money that I just told you I'm going to raise through taxes is going to be used for massive infrastructure spending so that we have a mass transit system and roads and highways, everything else that people can use. But not only that, it puts people to work in good paying jobs. When you build a bridge, when you build a road, that money goes in the economy like your money goes around this neighborhood. You give a rich guy a tax cut, he puts it under his mattress, he sends it to the Cayman Islands, but he's got so much money he's not going to spend more because you gave it to him. Give a poor person or a working man $1, and that money goes into the economy. So that's what I want to do to stimulate the economy. I also plan to legalize marijuana in the state of New Jersey. Because I don't know how so many fans here on this. But that is already a booming multi-billion-dollar industry that is unregulated and untaxed right now. And under my administration, because it's a federally illegal product, all of the jobs, by the way, I'm going to raise the minimum wage to $15 an hour, so people like Mike and Joe and Chris will make a minimum wage, will make no less than $15 an hour. But once I raise the minimum wage to $15 an hour, what I plan on doing is creating jobs through the infrastructure spending, jobs through the environmental infrastructure spending, and jobs through a marijuana industry that is currently funding Mexican drug cartels and other criminals who use violence to protect their money supply and will sell it to children if need be. Whereas if it was safe and regulated and taxed, we could do things like fund Jespy House completely without having to spend time with police officers chasing people around and putting them in jail and watching them. So all the wasted resources that are being spent on the criminalization would be saved and could be used here. I have a plan to solve the pension crisis, which is going to be a long explanation, and I know you have more questions, so I'm not going to get into that. But I'm going to give my cards out. You can check out the website. So between renewable energy, social justice, another problem that we have in this country is the mass incarceration of African Americans and minorities. And the reason that we have that problem goes back to Jim Crow. And it goes back to the 13th Amendment, which said that slavery and indentured servitude shall be unlawful except as punishment for crime. So what did they do? They allowed the people that were holding slaves in the southern half of the United States to make laws that they could use to throw black people in jail. And then they put the black people in jail, and they leased them back to their former owners, and called it leased labor. And that carried forward. And it carried forward, and it carried forward until Richard Nixon decided that he wanted a war on those peace-loving hippies who were smoking marijuana, and he wanted a war on minorities, so he associated heroin use and cocaine use with minorities, and he allowed law enforcement to go in and disrupt those communities and put them in jail. Yep. And now, Ronald Reagan came around, and he said he's going to get tough on crime, and he created mandatory minimum sentences, which Bill Clinton doubled down on, and then they started privatizing the prisons. And what do you got going on in private prisons? Leased labor. People making 20 cents an hour, 25 cents an hour building furniture. They might have built the furniture in this room right now. And that's slavery in another form. When you make something illegal for the sole purpose of putting somebody in jail and not to serve society, you have carried slavery forward today. And like I said in another form, this country was built on the genocide of Native Americans and the enslavement of African Americans. And once we get to the point where we can speak honestly about our society and speak honestly about the injustice that is going on, then we can talk about solving it. But there are people on this planet who don't want to acknowledge that it is a statistical impossibility that African American men are 6% of the population, but 40% of America's prisoners. That didn't happen by accident. And it's not a statistical anomaly that the United States of America has 5% of all the world's population, but 25% of all the world's prisoners.
Yep.
Think about that.
Yep.
This is the land of the free and the home of the brave? I don't see it. I think this is the land of the oppressed and the home of the scared. And I'm not scared. I'm not scared. I'll tell it to anybody who wants to hear it. Anybody who wants to argue with you better come with facts. Because I just stated statistics that you can't argue. So, under my administration, we're going to end the war on drugs. We're going to legalize marijuana. We're going to release people who are in jail for no other reason than that something that they were doing to themselves and by themselves was made illegal. And we're going to put them back to work. Because I want to fill jobs, not prisons. And I'll go back to the question.
You rock!
Richard.
Richard.
You are county government, you see, you always say, you take the present government and get rid of them because we're a pain in the neck in this country, and let's stay.
What?
Do you want to, what to do to get rid of the governor now? Well, I'm doing my best to put him in jail. I still have a motion pending. Right. And he got away with the crime, and he should be doing his mandatory minimum like.
Two men are two people in front, one guy's no longer a lawyer. He live with himself.
You're right. Look, we need to stay awake. Now that we know what's going on, we need to work together, and we need to be able to speak the truth. So thank you for the question.
Thank you, Richard.
Thank you. You gotta be.
Wilbur's next.
I'm sorry, say again?
Just take it slow, Wilbur.
I'm sorry, say it a little slower.
What about your benefits?
I would like to remain in South Orange, but the state keeps suggesting we move to other towns. How can I thrive without my people?
Okay, so the question is, I would like to remain in South Orange, but the state keeps suggesting we move to other towns. How can I thrive without my support system in another town? You know what? You might be able to do it because you look like a strong young man, and I got faith in you that you could do it, but I'm not going to let that happen because you shouldn't have to. You're already thriving in this town, and as far as I'm concerned, if it ain't broke, you don't fix it. And what's working, you make a model out of it, and make an example so other people can follow. You don't go do it, just decide we're going to experiment with somebody else's life. This is your life. This is your destiny, and I'm going to let you decide where you go. I'm not going to go. Hey, Jeffrey. Jeffrey, it's very good to meet you.
I've been in Jespy for a long time, and my family, my mom and dad, they deceased. And I've been married 25 years, my wife is right there.
Good question.
I've been working for 25 years in the same place. And every time there's a winter storm or something, the Jersey train doesn't run. What do I do? I can't have my wife get up at 6 o'clock in the morning to take me to work. She doesn't anyway.
You know, I wish I had all the answers for you. That's when you got me stumped. I mean, because I don't know, because when I'm in a heavy storm, sometimes I stay in and I don't make it to work, you know? So I don't know that I can get you to work if the buses aren't running or the trains aren't running. I'm looking at, look, I want to help you and I want you to vote for me, and I don't want it to seem like I feel for you, but I don't have an answer for you. The honest answer is I don't know what to do about that. I mean, I don't know.
Something should be, isn't there alternative?
Can I have some time to think about it? Because right now you got me stumped. Because I don't know. I'll be honest with you. I don't know.
Just the dance can drive, and I live in West Orange now, and like I said, bad weather comes, I have to get to work. I can't stay home.
I understand the predicament. Believe me, I was a firefighter. I couldn't stay home in the snow either. They declare a state of emergency, but my butt had to be in the firehouse at 8 o'clock in the morning. I know what you're saying, and I know it's important to you. My mind is facing huge, life-altering, horrible prospects, and I want to solve those. And I'm not saying your problem isn't a big problem, but I'm saying my mind is just saturated. I can't figure out how to get you to work in a snowstorm today. I can't. I will. I'll think about it. But when I get Jespy House funded, when I get people out of jail, when I get the environment straightened out, when I get the pension system straightened out, when I get Medicare for all, I want to get that done. But I appreciate you having the faith in me to ask me for help.
Thank you.
I'm Derek Mickey. I started 2013 as 4 years. I was a little bit nervous, I vote for like Democrats. I'm a Democrat fan because I was the victim because they caused me onto the other bad apples. I live in East Orange with my family. I gotta look out for my family because I was protected to I live with my dad. That's the most dangerous. I gotta keep away from others because I need to keep my mind and stay away from others. Dark, darkness, and then I just play with my team because I just be polite and keep concentrating on focus on sports.
Thank you
All
so
right. Well,
much.
listen. Stay on the right path. You're doing the right thing.
The question is, I know why, because I can't stand that madman named Trump, because I don't like him at all, because us, talk about everybody, because we need to get rid of him, because he betrayed, he lied to everybody, because he talked to the Russian people. That's the real what happened.
I want to talk about that. Thank you for bringing it up. Folks, thank you. Thank you very much. We have a serious problem in our country that goes beyond Donald Trump. And it's the problem of hate and anger and refusal to understand one another. And we can't fight the hate and the anger with hate and anger. We need to find those who understand each other, who are looking to help one another, who are looking to love one another, and we need to keep us who we are. We are the kind folk. We are the caring folk. We are the loving folk. And don't you guys ever lose touch of that. Don't let this man be an example for you. And don't let him get you down, because you know what? Love is the answer. Love is the answer. What he's doing is not going to sustain him. He is destroying himself. He is self-destructing on a very public stage with his hate and his anger and his fear. And you're watching a man disintegrate before your eyes. So if you're going to look at him and feel sorry for him, because he's a sad, lonely, pathetic individual, and nobody loves him the way we love you and we love each other. He doesn't have what we have. So don't hate him, pity him. He's a sad, sad, sad man.
My name is Harster. Hi. I am mentally ill, and I wanted to know if you came to office. There's a huge stigma towards mentally ill people. I didn't choose it. I was born with it. It's genetic. I don't like it. I don't want it. So how do we deal with accepting and moving on?
Well, you just took the first step. There's nothing to be ashamed of. In fact, we're only as sick as our secrets. And, you know, people will understand it. You know, everybody is either affected by mental illness personally or related to somebody or has somebody in their life that has mental illness. And everybody I know, you know, maybe I don't know, but as far as I know, everybody knows somebody who's affected by it at different levels. Whether it's depression, whether it's psychosis, whatever it is, with schizophrenia, whatever it is. There's a group in Bergen County that they're wearing green shirts. They're a stigma-free team, and they're talking about stigma-free and again back to love and acceptance and understanding and empathy. Because you said it. You didn't ask for this. You can't control this. This is not something that you're capable of turning on and off. And we're here for you. You know, all of us are here for you. And the government, as bad as it is, has come a long way. You know, there was a time where they would put you away and lock you up and medicate you and not give you the freedom that you have now. They are making small progress. You're too young to remember the time I'm talking about. All right, well, you're lucky. But you know, the answer is got to be, like I said, it's not hate, it's not anger, it's not fear. It is love. It is understanding and it is acceptance. And I love, understand, and accept you, and I want to be part of the solution for you. And it's going to take people. You know, people think I was brave to take on Chris Christie when I did. I think it takes more courage to talk about love and peace and understanding in the world that we're living in today. It's because it is happening. It's starting here. We're talking about it. So let's keep the conversation going. Let's not let it die on the vine. You know, I went to a forum and I gave a similar answer, and one of the other candidates ridiculed me, acted like that wasn't a plan. So I came back out and I doubled down on it, and I got a big round of applause. So shame on that candidate.
So you're saying, you don't give up, even if it looks like no one's behind you, no one cares, no one gets it, just keep going and don't go.
You know, look, if you step out of yourself for the moment and you realize moments like this and people like this, people do care. You're where you are today, you're as successful as you are today because people care, not because no one. If nobody cared, you wouldn't be standing here right now. That's the fact. So people do care. So focus on what is real and who cares and not on the people who don't. Because if they don't care about you, why should you care about them? The people you should care about are the people who are good, loving, honest, positive people. And you gotta gravitate towards them. And we gotta gravitate towards each other. We're all in this together, folks.
Thanks,
and one of us can do it. Thank you.
Thanks, Bill.
All right, well, I think that I've answered every question. We lost a few folks here. I don't know if the ball game started.
They had a cat like this stinks.
She's very shy.
Okay.
She's like, Sierra, I really want to ask a question, but I have to write it down.
Okay.
Oh, here
So
comes
I
two
want to
other
encourage
people.
her.
There's two other people coming.
Yeah, say your story. You're married. Go ahead.
Married
To Michael. Michael. And you're both dating.
we're both DPD, and
What would happen, right?
Yeah.
If you guys were not to get a funding, how would you, when you just said, okay, I'm sorry, I'm not speaking for her, but she's very shy. She said, what would happen to me and Michael if we have no funding, this place shut down? What? Will we have to go back to our individual homes with our parents? Like, that's their fear, because we have a lot of clients here that are married, and this is their home. So this split will mean, am I helping? Yes.
I can't fathom a society and a country that reveres the institution of marriage the way we do, that upholds it, that would try and use government funds to split up a loving married couple. And what would happen? Well, maybe for 6 months you'd have a problem, or maybe for 3 months you'd have a problem, but when I'm governor, this property is going to remain the way it is. This property is going to be your home. This program is going to exist. So hang on. And Phil, did you hear that? A married, loving couple is living in fear that they're going to be separated because of a shortage of $1 million. Phil, this couple needs you. You can save them. And another couple. And another couple. And another couple. We have 4 married couples in this room who live in fear that the government is going to break up their family. I know you can't change the government right now, but you can change their lives today. Phil, cut the check.
Thank you.
Me and my husband were just talking about that. That's correct. What would happen to us?
Well, you know what? I don't think he's going to be able to say no. I really don't think he can say no. So, I mean, this has got to make it to him. We got to take clips of this, and we've got to email and tweet at him, and tweet and email at him, and say, "You got called out, Phil." And I'm not doing it to bust balls, Phil. I'm telling you right now, you can do this, and you're the only one I know. So just do it. Do it.
Thanks, Phil. Before we end, Lee, the very first client who spoke to you in Maplewood last month would like to present you with something so you remember next week by. So Laney's going to present you something so you remember Jespy by, and you remember who you are by.
Every time you put these on, you will think about us.
They're beautiful. They're beautiful. I'm honored, and I'll never forget any of you.
Now you need a tux.
Now I need a tuxedo for the inaugural ball. But I am so grateful that you guys thought enough to ask me here and invite me here and tell me your stories. And I consider you my friends. I consider you people now that for the rest of my life, I am going to be your advocate. And I don't say that lightly. And I am here for all to see and making a permanent record of my commitment to this group, to this home, to this facility, and this program. And I'm telling you now, this is going to be part of my life's work. So anybody who gets in your way is going to have to come through me. Anybody who wants to get you is going to have to come through me. And there's no other threat. That's a promise. And I thank you so much for being here, for me tonight, for doing that. Thank you.
South Orange, and don't forget to vote June 6th in the Democratic primary.
I don't even know what you would do, but I know it's on. Oh, you watch it afterwards? Okay. Very cool. Now I have arthritis. You're welcome, everyone.